Hey everyone, Dr. Sabrina Soltz here with my lovely husband,
Zach. How's it going?
Today we wanted to dive into a topic that, a couple ways we can lead into this. So one of them being is the carnivore diet the only thing you need to do for a healthy lifestyle? And or if you've been carnivore for a while, what is the next step you can take to create an overall healthy lifestyle?
Right. Yeah, you can't just expect to have everything fall into place when you have other poor habits that you haven't a lot of times I know for me the bad habits with food went along with other bad habits that were not related to food. So you have to watch both. If you're not focusing on both of those and you start carnivore diet and you say, hey, all these other people are getting great results, why am I not? That would be one reason why. So you gotta pay attention.
It could be one of these things. These things could all stall progress in various ways. And I made a list of 5 things that we're going to go over today. And some of them may apply to you, some of them might not. But I just, invite you to take a look at, could this be improved in your life, with the goal always being progress over perfection. We don't ever need to go for perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. But as long as you're making a little bit of progress each and every day that moves you toward your goals, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so we made a list of different things to go through. One is a big one for me is avoiding plastics at all costs. So that means plastic pill bottles, plastic Tupperware, plastic water bottles, plastic containers for your water, plastic on your food. There's basically everything that has plastic you want to try to avoid. So nothing in bags or, some of that stuff's really hard to avoid and you really can't. For example, they wrap some meat in plastic. So that kind of stuff, you can't really avoid that, but you definitely want to try to avoid plastic.
At all costs. So we've all heard of BPA, this phenylalanine, but there's more toxins in plastic beyond just BPA, and these can all work as endocrine disruptors, meaning they will impact your hormones on various levels. Now, the other thing with toxins in plastic and toxins and other things too that we're going to talk about is that these things can accumulate in your body if you are unhealthy already, and they will continue to perpetuate you being unhealthy. And the way that your body is actually going to store these is by putting on more fat. So there's more surface area for the pollution to go into, right? Yeah. So your body's solution to pollution is dilution, right? Diluting these things with excess adipose tissue on your body. This is why when some people start to lose weight, sorry, we have yelling kids.
Hey, Zoe, cut it out.
This is, you guys.
Well, get it away from them. Hey, why don't y'all go outside? Okay.
Okay, so this is why when people can start to lose weight, they can actually start to feel worse, because as those fat cells break open, they can release some of those stored toxins in there and get them into circulation. So some people will report feeling fluish, they'll just report feeling an overall sense of impending doom, decreased well-being. It could be because of these accumulated toxins that have built up in your fat cells. Now, on that same topic of accumulated toxins, beyond just the plastics in your environment, again, scrutinize everything. Look at every single thing that has plastic, especially if you live in a hot place like in Arizona. All those plastic water bottles that were shipped on trucks that were not temperature controlled, exposed to all that heat, sorry, aggressive baby, it's gonna leach way more of those toxins into that. Because again, it's plastic's exposed to heat into the water, which is a solvent.
Yeah, plastic in Arizona especially, because it's those trucks they probably get up, in the back of those trucks, probably get up to 130, 140 degrees, because it's 110 outside. What do you think, the more you heat up that plastic, the softer that material is, the more it releases into the water. We know that for a fact.
And this is also why it's important to, if you're even gonna buy supplements, purchasing supplements from a company that stores things in temperature-controlled warehouses. So we use FullScript for all of our products, and we can put a link down below for you to register for that. They actually have warehouses that are temperature controlled, so that's a good thing. Okay, so moving beyond plastics, just scrutinize everything. The next source of big toxins in a person's environment usually comes from your toiletries. So we're talking shampoo, conditioner, body wash, shaving cream. We're talking about toners, moisturizers, cleansers. We're talking about makeup. We're talking about perfume. We're talking about cologne. We're talking about body sprays. Some people can literally be exposed to hundreds of toxins.
Thousands, yeah.
Before they even leave their bathroom in the morning.
Yeah, women
especially.
Yeah.
Deodorant, like you name it, all of these things have incredible amounts of toxins in them. I would implore you and just try to find a non-toxic alternative. Especially deodorant, for example. So the aluminum that's present in deodorant can actually accumulate in your body as a heavy metal, and can lead to a lot of issues. So at least just switch out your deodorant. There are some brands that are natural that don't actually work. That being said, if you do find yourself very, very sweaty, it means that you're actually very toxic. Neither of us really have any body odor. Mm-hmm. Like truthfully,
yeah.
We've gone past that point where we've gone through these detox phases where we're removing things from our body. Because remember, sweat is a way that your body can remove toxins. Okay, yeah. There's various ways by which your body can remove toxins. The fancy word for that is called namunctory. So obviously your stools can remove toxins, your urine can remove toxins. The sweat's a big one for women. Your menstrual cycle is also a way to remove toxins too. Did you know that's actually why women live longer than men, is because we get to have basically a oil change every month. We get to clean our blood every month that way. Men don't actually have that built in, so that's a really interesting aside. But when it comes to these toxins that are present in all of these products, because you're putting them on your skin directly, I'm sorry, this baby. Because you're putting them on your skin directly, your skin can actually absorb all of these things in the same way as if you were eating them. So my general rule becomes, if I wouldn't eat it or if I couldn't eat it, I'm not going to put it on my skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you wouldn't put it in your mouth, don't put it on your skin, because you'll absorb it just as easily as eating it. So
yeah, it's a really easy rule. And if you are having a hard time trying to find, well, which product should I use? If you Google the Environmental Working Group Skin Deep, they have a database of over 90,000 products, and it ranks them on how healthy they are. And we can put a link in the description so you guys can actually go on there, and it'll tell you, you can look up what you're currently using. It'll tell you how bad it is and why it's bad, but then you can also search for, okay, what's a really great shampoo? I'll tell you, the deodorant that we use is a brand called Truly's. We have no affiliation with them. I don't even think they do affiliates. Otherwise, we'd be selling it out the wazoo. But it's literally safe enough to eat. It smells like cupcakes and it lasts. I mean, we live in Arizona and we both use that. And
yeah,
it's
I never really have sweaty armpits either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
all right, you want to say on toiletries?
Yeah, toiletries. So this is for both men and women, but toothpaste, fluoride is an endocrine disruptor. They put fluoride in water too, so you got to try to get an RO system or something that cleans out water. There's tons of fluoride in water bottles that you buy at the grocery store. What do you want, sir? You want to come with Daddy? But you know, other than that, toiletries.
For guys, oh, I say hi. For guys, it's also going to be like your Axe body sprays, your Carnivore.
Anything that smells, no fragrances.
Yeah,
you don't need
fragrance is one of the worst endocrine disruptors, cognitive disruptors. They're just bad news because they don't actually have to disclose what they used for that fragrance.
Right.
And if you need a smell to cover up your own smell, you have to look deeper. You know, if I'm speaking right to you, know that I'm not actually speaking right to you. I don't know who you are. I don't know your name. But if you're feeling convicted by this, like, this is the opportunity to make a move, right? Make a change, like do something about this, because this is your health, right? And there's really nothing more important than that.
Yeah, so and all these different things can also, you know, these endocrine disruptors, they put those in like the Axe body spray. Those kind of things can affect how you're responding to carnivore. So if you're getting poisoned on an end of, you know, from toiletries, and you're having bad responses from carnivore, you're having poor sleep, poor digestion,
headaches.
Yeah, headaches or depression, those kind of things. It could have nothing to do with your diet. You could be poisoning yourself. If you have low thyroid function, those like fluoride's a big one, but fluoride's in toothpaste. They put fluoride in and they dump it in a lot of the municipal waters for most cities, so trying to avoid that is pretty difficult.
And here's the thing, when your body gets healthier, it has a lower tolerance for these things. So even if these things didn't bother you before, once you've been on carnivore a while and your body actually starts to become way more efficient at cleaning things, you might actually feel these effects more. So now maybe the perfume that you used to use all the time is now giving you a slight headache, or that cream you used to put on your face, or something else all of a sudden is just no longer agreeing with you. this is the opportunity for you to make that change to things that are way more natural. And again, if the carnivore diet is our proper human diet, what we've evolved with, then the whole idea of the carnivore lifestyle should be to go back to nature and more natural things and not having to depend on all these chemicals, because at the same time, you're still voting with your dollar. And if you were to look at the company trees of who owns all these things, I mean, my gosh, you might as well be supporting Coca-Cola by buying certain shampoo brands because it's all the same company at the end of the day. So if something like that matters to you, this is just another reason to actually make that shift.
Yeah, so like hair gel, hair products, that kind of thing. I actually stopped using all that stuff and started using coconut oil in my hair. So
yeah, again, if you wouldn't eat it, why would you put it on your body,
yeah.
right?
So that's the only thing I put in my hair, just to keep it soft and, you know, from going crazy.
So those are the first two, our plastics and our toiletries. And he kind of alluded to number 3, which is your water source, right? We're 70% water. And if your municipal water, it likely isn't that great. There are sites where you can go on and you can check kind of what their evaluation is. You can have an independent person come out to your house and test your water. But truthfully, if you can, try to get as pure of a water source as you possibly can. Now, we have a reverse osmosis system, and we've been very happy with that. Hi, sweetheart.
On the other hand, if you use reverse osmosis and you suck all the nutrients out of it and then you drink it, it can also pull nutrients out of you. So you can become electrolyte imbalanced because of the water as well. So you want to add those electrolytes back in. You got to
add minerals back in. And listen, this is another topic, but I really do believe that pretty much everybody could do with mineral repletion, because you've likely spent decades doing things to your body that deplete minerals without getting adequate return, especially if you were eating the standard American diet previously. You are mineral deficient. The ones that we really like are called the Quintons. If you sign up for FullScript, you can look those up. We can, again, put this all in the description for you so that you can see what these are. But that's going to be so important for your water. Now, the other thing to consider with water is how much are you actually drinking, okay? And the rule, at least I would say, would be drink when you're thirsty. Sorry, these kids.
Stop. Let them have it. Let them have it.
Please.
Shh. Hey, be quiet.
This is real life.
What is it, razor blade?
Apparently the baby has a razor blade, so he's just going to go handle that. I will continue with the water and your water intake. The general rule used to be half an ounce to 1 ounce per pound of body weight. Okay, wasn't a razor
water
blade.
pick.
That's great. Half an ounce to an ounce per pound of body weight. And that should be a general guideline, right?
Water?
Water intake. Some people are going to require less. Some people are going to require more. It's going to depend on your activity levels. It's going to depend on where you live in the world. Like in Arizona, we lose water way more easily because we live in the freaking desert, right? Somebody who's way more physically active, they're going to have a higher water requirement. Those are just, again, things to consider. Once you figure out kind of what your sweet spot is, try to hover around there. I know that personally, I can drink about 3 of these 30-ounce Yetis a day, and that's solid for me, and I stay fairly hydrated, and I might even teeter on the edge of dehydration, again, because we have a high requirement here. So that's generally what's going on there. Again, make sure you add electrolytes to it, especially if you're new to carnivore and you're kind of working out that balance with that too.
Yeah, which is difficult. With carnivore, it's a lot harder just because you're not retaining as many minerals because you're not getting the carbohydrates. But you know that's a negative, but there's also pluses behind it, lower blood pressure, things like that. So it's here nor there. It's kind of, I think you should have minerals regardless of what diet.
Yeah. I will say one thing, I do not recommend Berkey. We came to realize that Berkey is bullshit, and I actually do have a story on a saved story highlight on my Instagram at Dr. Solt, DRSOLT, where you can kind of go through what I discovered. And basically what happened was we had somebody come out and test our water, so the reverse osmosis that was coming from the sink versus our Berkey, and the Berkey somehow was like, it was identical to the tap water.
To the tap water.
Go away, Zoe. We have determined the Berkey is bullshit, and it's not. I wasn't the first one. So once I posted all that stuff on my social media,
lock the door.
People actually came out of the woodwork and was like, I've heard this about Berkey, I've heard that about Berkey, and there's been other collections of people who have experienced similar stuff. Yeah. So Berkey's bullshit. Don't waste your money on a Berkey. Reverse osmosis seems to be where it's at, with the caveat that you must do some degree of mineral and or electrolyte depletion.
Yeah.
And here's an important distinction. All electrolytes are minerals. Not all minerals are electrolytes. You need both.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
There are about 70 or so minerals that we do require, and not all of them are going to be in your electrolyte replacement. Your electrolyte replacements are predominantly going to be sodium, calcium, potassium, and magnesium. Predominantly, pretty much. Some of them are going to have additional other minerals in there too. I tend towards those. I personally like the Electrolyte Supreme by Jigsaw. That's also available on Fullscript. It is sweetened with stevia, so if that's going to be like a trigger thing for you to crave more carbs, I would stay far away from that. But that is one of the ones that I like.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's just those. These are just toxins that everybody gets exposed. Hey, excuse me, Zen. Toxins that everybody gets exposed to every day, and it's Jesus. All right, Zoe, let him in. Zoe, let him in.
Oh, we're sorry. Like, thanks for hanging with us. If you're still watching this video. We're doing this in real life. Like we're not, like, we're still parents first, and like we're not just gonna, abandon our kids to make this content, but we're still trying to help people out.
Might lock them outside in 110 degrees weather.
We're not gonna do that. Yeah,
I thought about it. Didn't do it, but I thought about it.
Okay, so the next two things that we're gonna talk about that you consume, it's kind of a different conversation. The first thing being the media that you consume. Okay,
Yeah.
So where to even lead in with this? If you're sitting around watching the news, watching whatever it is, literally the media that you're consuming, okay, whether it's on your TV or your computer or your phone, the small screen, the medium screen, or the big screen, that's going to have an effect on your health because it's going to spark certain thoughts. It's also going to lead to how you behave, right? If you're constantly consuming fear-based propaganda, you're going to act in a fear-based state, and that's not going to be conducive to what we're trying to achieve with an overall healthy carnivore lifestyle where we're positive and grounded in nature and open to connectedness with our fellow human being, right? There's a lot of people out there who are telling you what to think versus how to think. And the important distinction to make here is that truthfully, I don't care what it is that you watch, but I care if it's not serving you. I care if you are in a state where you think, oh yeah, maybe I should turn off CNN because it's only making me think the worst about other people in my environment and what's happening in the world, and you're losing the positivity that should be innate with being on this diet and lifestyle because it produces such a good feeling in our own bodies.
Yeah.
Right?
We're having meltdowns in the back.
Kids, man. Okay, we got one more to go into here, and I wish I could spend more time on this one, but this is going to be a teaser. The last thing being is your thoughts. So Dr. Bruce Lipton is a stem cell biologist, stem cell scientist. He wrote a book called The Biology of Belief. The premise of this book is basically him trying to put into true scientific fact this idea and truth that every single cell listens to every single thought that you have and behaves accordingly. So if you are trying to embark on a healthier lifestyle, healthier diet, healthier way of eating, healthier way of living, and you are not taming the thoughts that are coming in up here, you're actually going to be completely robbing yourself of your fullest potential, okay? Stuck in negative thought cycles, stuck in these negative thought processes where you think, bad things always happen to me, I'm always gonna be sick, I'm never gonna get better. Whatever limitations you're putting on yourself, right? You can very much change your environment. You can change everything simply by changing your thoughts. Okay, I think we had some sibling rivalry here. So the thing with the other aspect of your thoughts has to do with the interplay between your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is responsible for about 95% of what you do on a daily basis. It literally runs your whole life in the background, okay? Now, your subconscious mind was actually created between about the ages of 0 to 7. And I know for a fact that you do not want 7-year-old you in charge of running your life, but that's what's happening, right? Everything that you are triggered by, all the ways that you react in similar circumstances, that's all being done by your subconscious mind. The only way to change this programming is to do it purposefully by changing how you think in your conscious thoughts. So this can be affirmations, this can be meditation, this could be doing something like EFT, which is tapping. You can Google that, you can find tutorials on that, but those are all things that can really be helpful with this. Again, this is way kind of out in left field, this conversation, but if you like this conversation, I'm so here for having it because it is how I changed my life personally. It all had to start with my thoughts. But yeah, let me know if you want to dive into this stuff more. Would be happy to. So those are the 5. Thanks for hanging in there with us, Zach. What else can you add before we sign off?
Yeah, just avoiding. I mean, if it's not something that you put in mind.
Come here, sweetheart. All right, come here.
If it's not something you you know, a human wouldn't do in the wild or use, I wouldn't use it because our intuition as humans is pretty backwards. Everything that we've done to enhance our species has ended up hurting us. So, you know, if your instincts say this is not good, you know, probably don't use it. Or if you eat something and you have a feeling like, hey, I didn't respond well to that, maybe don't eat that. Right? That's kind of how I do it. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, just those covering the toxins and.
Mom life. This is part of nature. Breastfeeding till they're much older.
Yep.
There is research that actually supports up to age 7. I'm certainly not going to do that, but he's not even 2 yet.
Jeez.
So we're just gonna.
Zoe just stopped at 2.
It was almost 3.
Was it? I thought it was 2.
Was it 2?
It was 2.
Oh, it was 2.
It was
just
2.
over 2.
Yep.
26 months. Yeah. All right, everyone.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us. Hope this was helpful. Drop us some comments about what you want to learn more about or what you might have learned here that was new to you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.